We are making this video to show you how to operate the Twister number 12 buckwheat huller and maintain this unit. First things first, your huller will arrive in this condition. It will need to be hooked up to electricity. We offer 3-phase and single-phase options. Consult a certified electrician. Once it is hooked up to power, your VFD will be pre-programmed. Should start to blink. You hit the run button and the unit should fire right up. Speed adjustment can be done by pushing this button. Pushing it once allows you to adjust the RPM singularly by single RPMs. Then you hit the enter button. Should adjust, so you hit this once, hit this button, turn it down or speed it up to whatever speed you want. Then you hit the enter button. If I want to slow it down by 10 RPM, I can do that. Then it slows it down by 10s. You can hear that it slowed down just a little bit. And then if I want to slow it down by hundreds of RPM, I push the over button 3 times. And that allows me to slow it down by hundreds of RPMs. The VFD gives you a lot of adjustability. The stone gap is controlled by this crank right here. Turning it counterclockwise lowers the stone. Turning it clockwise raises the stone. When this unit is in operation, you don't want to grind your stones together. However, when you have changed stones, let's say you wear the first set out and you change it over for the other included set of stones, if the stone has a slight wobble or variance, you may need to grind the stones together a little bit to get them faced and get them mated up perfectly. I'm going to demonstrate facing the stones. Now these stones have already been faced, so I'm not going to do this too much, but it should give you an idea. You turn the crank counterclockwise, and that will lower the stone. You can hear them rubbing together in there. I'm just going to do it a little bit more. That right there is as much as you should grind them together. I wouldn't grind them together any more than that. The sounds you're hearing is the 2 stones grinding up against each other and facing each other. That's how you get your faces to be matched up perfectly. It makes it so that you have an even distance all the way around. And now I have raised the stones. They're no longer touching. They've been faced, so that means the surface all the way around is going to be even. Note that this will only need to be done when changing the stones. If you've put in a fresh set of stones and they have a slight wobble or a slight variance, you may need to grind them together a little bit to get them faced properly. Note that once you have faced the stones, it's a good idea to remove the top after you've locked out power and blow away any stone dust and give the stones a thorough cleaning with a brush and some compressed air, making sure that there is no debris left over in the hulling chamber. After refacing the stones, it is also a good idea to run some buckwheat through this huller and discard that in case there is some stone debris left over. The hopper on this unit comes straight up and off. Comes off like that. Then the hulling chamber can be opened up and the stones can be exposed by taking off these hand crankable bolts. We're going to take the top of the huller off. This has the stationary stone attached to it, so when you set it down, be very careful. That comes up and off of there. Then this can be set up against the wall here. Want to be very careful not to damage anything. Our stationary stone can be removed by taking off this spanner nut here. There's also some springs that give it a little bit of give. In case you were to take in a rock, the stationary stone might come up a little bit and give you some relief. Make sure that your buckwheat is clean and free of impurities though. And then our spinning stone right here comes off by taking off this nut and this washer. Do not lose these. Underneath of the spinning stone is also a platform that this sits on. It just slides down over the shaft. It can be removed as well. That's what this wiper is attached to. When you are storing this unit for extended periods, it is a good idea to thoroughly clean this huller, blow this out with some compressed air, make sure there are no buckwheat kernels left in the grooves of the stone. That's going to attract mice. If you keep it clean, the mice won't have any reason to come inside of your machine. When reinstalling the stone or installing a new one, make sure that you don't over tighten this. It should be snug but not over tight. If you over tighten it, you will break the spinning stone. Now that we have the top reinstalled, we can fire this unit up. Again, after we have changed the stones and faced them, there is never another reason to grind these stones together. That is improper operation. If you're grinding your stones together, your stones are too close together. A starting value for stone gapping or stone spacing is to measure from the top of the adjustment collar to the top of these threads here. It should be 1 3/8 inches. Then you can either raise the stone or lower them from there. Best way of getting the stone spacing finely tuned is to just put a little bit of buckwheat in the top here and then see what comes out the bottom. If what comes out the bottom has a bunch of damaged groats and fine dust, that means your stones are too close together and they need to be spread apart. And then if you put some in the top and what comes out the bottom has too many intact buckwheat kernels and barely any groats, that means you need to bring your stones together. All of this is going to be on the side of your twister huller. You can pause the video and read that if you'd like. Here's a diagram of how this unit works. This unit is very simple to operate. Again, it will require a little bit of learning and trial and error because different lots of buckwheat will be different sizes. This unit comes with these hoses and gates. That allows you to close them off when your bucket is full and then open them back up when you have an empty bucket underneath. That limits the amount of spillage. We have shut off the VFD now by hitting the stop button. Stop and run. This unit has a run and stop button. That's to start and stop the unit. Now, of course, we wouldn't do any servicing to this unit unless we have locked out power. This unit also has these hinges on the back. They allow the huller to flip onto its back. And then that gives you access to the underside if you need to tighten up your pulley, check your belts, or do some thorough cleaning. It's a very handy feature to have. Note that this huller is very heavy, so that is definitely a two-person job, and you will want to control it on its way down so that it doesn't slam down onto these forklift tubes. We have some samples here. The first sample we are looking at is proper operation. You can see we have intact groats, very few intact buckwheat kernels. Again, spacing will need to be changed between different lots of buckwheat. Buckwheat size can vary depending on how much rain has been gotten over the year. And then we have an example of improper operation where we have no intact buckwheat groats. It's fine dust, damaged holes. This is an indicator that your stones are too close together. This is what it should look like if your stones are properly spaced. For more questions, contact us here at Commodity Traders International. Thank you for watching.